Hi, welcome back to Genesis Custom Sabers. Every little person who's ever assembled a model fighter jet, who's ever applied repeated decals saying no step or ejector seat, has wanted to sit in one. So it came as no surprise when my boys outgrew their car safety seats and we had them sitting in the house after removing them from the cars. Of course, they started sitting in them pretending they're in a fighter jet or a rocket ship. Lots of adventures, which gave me an idea. Why don't we turn these car safety seats into really cool ejector seats? So I went online to see who's done this before to get some ideas. I couldn't find anything. Now, I can't be the first person who's thought of this, but on the off chance that I am, yay me, because this worked awesome. We turned these car safety seats into really cool ejector seat desk chairs. Now, you could also turn them into gamer chairs. You could recline them a little bit more instead of having to prop them upright like I did, but you'll see once we get into the video. But it was lots of fun, the boys loved them, and now they have really cool ejector seats in their room. A note of caution, when dealing with furniture or a chair, safety is paramount. You don't want your little person falling off the chair, hurting themselves because you built it poorly or not very stable. So go out of your way to make sure things are stable, test them. With our boys, they've got some rules. For instance, you can't take the ejector seat, put it on your bed, and try to use it as a ladder to reach the ceiling. That's not a good idea. If we don't want anyone hurting themselves while trying to have fun. Kind of is what boys do. But anyways, be safe with your kids. Okay, as much as possible, you want to take it apart so you can get out all the crumbs and things, and I can work with this base to secure it to my tote. You can also want to make sure you take off all the straps. Now I'm going to take off these straps carefully so that we can reuse them, so I don't want to cut them as much as possible. So I'll probably take off the straps, and then the next thing is these covers, you can remove them and then you can wash them. So probably take off the covers, take off the straps, and then work with what I got to secure it to my base. Alright, this car seat actually can rock back to different settings. But because we're going to use this as a desk chair, I don't want the chair to be sitting so far back that it's not comfortable to sit at a desk. We don't want this to take away from the academics. So I've made these blocks that I've measured the angle, and they're going to actually shim. And I've already drilled my 2 front holes to keep it where I want. And that's the angle that I want. I've done some testing. So I'm going to drill through these, put my back anchors through there. It's nice and solid on the base. So that's going to be how I position this chair. One of the ways to make this look less like a child's car seat and more like an ejection seat is to take off the old stickers. Oh, that came off really well. Sometimes they're sun-baked and they come off easy. I might have to use some WD-40 to clean that up. Well, one of the chairs, the stickers were super easy. The other chair, the stickers are ridiculously sticky. So I'm just using layers of WD-40 and just taking it off, letting it soak, taking a little bit more off, letting it soak. It's one of these jobs you just kind of have to do while you've got other things and you keep coming back to it every 10 minutes until it's done. Okay, progress report. I've got it all secured onto the tote the way I want. I'm actually really happy with how that came out. Might make it a little bit more stable down the road, but for a first run this is going to work. So I'm using a number of things now that I'm onto the greebly phase, which is the most fun. Once the chair's in there, this has been washed. Got a little box down here that I made out of some, just some household trim, kind of thing you put around your windows. I just cut it, I've drilled some holes in it, and painted it black. And then I took these old audio-video cables, and I painted the ends green, so they're kind of a mil-spec looking thing. And they're gray cables, so they're really nice for this. And I actually ran them down here and plugged them into that box, and then routed them up here just to run some cables. I've got some split loom running up here, and of course I've got this. This is a metal transition that you can get at the hardware store. I find things used or junked like this. It's for transition for when you're laying down tiles and going to carpet. It's got a really cool pattern in it, so I've got that bolted to the back. And I'm running my cables, and this up here, this box, is made from 2 dollar store paint trays that I've bolted together, alternating, and created a really cool looking box, and just screwed that into the back, and screwed it together, put an elbow up here for my conduit and starting to look like an ejector seat. So I got these at the dollar store. It's just a paint tray, and they cost $1 each. And I realized that they're a really cool shape. If I flip them over like this, and then drill holes, tap them, put in some 440 screws, those will make a really cool black box shape that I can bolt onto the back of one of the chairs. Actually, I'm going to do it on both chairs. I'm going to screw through here, and once I've got the screw holes all tapped, I'm going to mount this one, and then I just screw this one on. I can drill holes and run conduit, or some split loom, or some wires. I can put some greeblies on it, some stickers. It's perfect. I'm particularly proud of this. It's the plastic tops from a 4-pack of local craft beer. With some holes drilled in and some screws, just to give some detail to the box. And that coupled with these elbows and split loom, I'm really liking how this looks. I think it probably needs some kind of like a sticker or warning label to finish it off, but I'm really happy with this. Okay, for the ejection handle, I hummed and hawed over how to do this. And so essentially what I'm going to do is I've got this rubber tubing. So I'm going to cut a length of this. I'm going to use this yellow electrical tape, and I'm going to do the spiral pattern on the tubing with the electrical tape. And if you've ever used electrical tape on rubber, you know that eventually it's going to get sticky and come off. So then after that's all done, I use this clear transparent shrink tube, and I'm going to run that over the whole thing and then heat that, and that shrinks up and creates a bearing that you can, or a barrier that can be handled. You can still see the black and yellow stripes through it. And then I'm going to run a wire through a couple of holes in the chair, and that wire is going to be hooked and anchored, and this is going to be the handle portion that goes kind of between the knees, the ejector handle. These are drawer handles I got at the used building supply store, so those will be on the front of a drawer. I'm going to try to, especially this one, it's red, and so it looks like something bolted to the side of an ejector chair. So I'm going to try to find somewhere where I can put this on the seat, drill hole, and then run these screws in from the back side to make handles, or you can make them into like little pivot handles or things like that. This is a product called steel strapping. Plumbing strapping is also a common name for it. It comes in like a 25-foot roll, and you just spin it out like that. And then I use tin snips, and I just cut a length of that, and I can roll that over, and I can make really cool anchors for any size of conduit or cable. I can wrap that around a bunch of cable and then screw that to the chair and make cable anchors that run the length of my run of cable or split loom or whatever. So it's really handy to have rather than going and looking for the right size of anchor. So if you've got a couple of these old breakers, just from your house electrical panel, these ones are old ones that I'm not going to use. So I'm going to attach these to the body of my ejection seat because they look kind of like the body of an ejection seat. So I'm going to use these holes to screw it in. A simple way to do that is just to get a nail punch, have a board with a hole drilled in it, line up the rivet that you want, and then tap it through with a hammer. You should be able to pull it out the other side. If you're not careful, you'll break those away. Now I can use that as a screw hole, and I've got two, which is all I need. Okay, one of the things I'm going to do on this is I'm going to weather it. So I'm just going to take this Scotch pad. I got this at the dollar store, and just some scuffs, hardly noticeable. And then I'm going to use this rub and buff, and I'm going to use this is the silver leaf. I think what I've got here is the pewter, and I'm going to rub some of it on my finger. You can see I just got a dab of it on there, and then basically I'm going to just carefully dab it on corners. And if you just kind of do a quick wipe, it gives you kind of like scratches and scuff marks. And you want to do it just on the raised areas. I got these stickers made at Vistaprint, and they're metallic, shiny. So I hit them with some matte clear coat, and I really like the result. So I got this idea from another prop builder, Shannon, from Gamer Art Creations, who made these really cool vintage electronics labels. And so I wanted to do something that made just a black box. pop and look more genuine. Everybody knows that random warning labels are key to any ejector seat. I picked up this glow-in-the-dark tape, which works really good. I put a couple of strips of it down in the corners, so in the night, because this is going to be a kind of a desk chair in a bedroom, you don't want to stub your toe on this big black invisible in the dark box. Now you can see the corners at night. So I hope that's been fun and inspiring. Perhaps you followed along and tried to do the same thing with your car safety seat. Now yours is probably different and you had to do a number of things differently in order to mount it, but the basic premise is solid and will work for you to make a gamer seat or a desk chair that looks like a real ejection seat and is a lot of fun to play with. So now my boys have really cool ejector seats in their rooms as a desk chair. They can sit at them and do their homework, because that's probably not distracting at all. So it's been a really fun project. Thanks for following along, and I hope you've got some great ideas. And as always, if you like this kind of stuff, please subscribe to my channel and click that little bell thing so you'll be notified when I come up with new videos of who knows whatever. From my shop to yours, thanks again for watching.